I'm delighted today to introduce a gentleman I didn't know until early this morning, but I've been very interested in his business for many years. Mike George was named president of QVC in November 2005 and CEO in April 6. He's responsible for overseeing QVC's operations in the US, the UK, Germany, Japan, and most recently, managed the expansion of their international presence with the addition of programming in Italy. Under Mike's leadership, QVC has become a premier lifestyle and shopping destination. It's now one of the world's largest multimedia retailers, with QVC TV reaching approximately 195 million homes worldwide, and traffic on its internet and mobile platforms exceeding 100 million visitors a year. They also have a substantial social media presence through Facebook. Celebrating its 25th year, QVC is live 24/7, 364, closing only on Christmas Day. It features a host of personalities, and I'm sure that Mike, like Martha and Terry before him, will mention some of them. We saw earlier in our polling, now lost, that the customer is king. But Mike takes real care to make sure that QVC is a customer-centric organization, and this has paid off. For the past 3 years, QVC has been named one of the top 10 best retail companies for consistent, great customer service in the NRF Foundation American Express Customers' Choice Awards. Please join me in congratulating Mike on this honor and welcoming him here today. Mike?
Thank you for that kind introduction. Good morning, everyone. It is wonderful to be with all of you today, although I must admit it's a little intimidating to have to follow Terry and Martha. So I will try to do my best in being in great company. I think it's an amazing time to be in retailing. I don't have to tell any of you that the pace of change is extraordinary, and it's going to just accelerate from here. And with that change, of course, comes great challenges that all of us have to work through. But I also think great opportunity, and I think we saw some of that opportunity already this morning. So what I wanted to try to do is frame up these seismic shifts we're seeing in the world of commerce as the digital age advances and takes on new shape and new texture. And that'll be my focus. Since we live in QVC only in the digital world, my focus will be on the digital world and what we're trying to do to respond to the changes that we see every day. But I was struck by something this morning. I was struck by how consistent what I'm going to say is with what we heard already from Terry and Martha. So I think we're all, whatever segment we're in, grappling with similar challenges and chasing similar opportunities. I don't have to tell any of you that the rules of the game are changing at a pretty rapid pace. There seem to be these kind of ironclad rules of the internet today. If it can be free, it will be. If it can be known, it will be. If it can be rated, it will be. And these are really profound changes in the world of commerce. Fundamentally, they mean that power is shifting, has shifted, from the brand, the marketer, the retailer, to the consumer. And with that change has been this parallel phenomenon in the last few years, which is all of a sudden consumers are able to interact with each other in new and different ways, form new communities. And suddenly the consumers are part of these empowered and emboldened communities. And if we lose sight of the fact that they're really in control of our destiny, not ourselves, we do so at some peril. And there's clearly a negative for at least some companies and industries with all these changes. We all know that for many, the internet has been a great source of value destruction because free does grow fast. Free grows fast. And the consumer, armed with information and choice, is able to do things that they weren't able to do before. And so we just have to look around us at sister industries and the challenges they've faced. Look at the music world, or the television world, or the newspaper world. It's one of the great ironies of this new era that we are seeing an explosion in the consumption of music, an explosion in the consumption of news content, of video content in general. And at the same time, the revenues that accrue to the industries that produce that and distribute it have shrunk. Growth in demand, reduction in revenue. We in the retail industry aren't quite as susceptible to those issues because we sell physical products, but we all face this risk of the race to the bottom, that in this new world, the marginal competitor can win on lowest price, most discounts, most free S&H, and in doing that, continue to erode the retailing experience to its bare bone. So we all know that we've got those challenges we as an industry need to overcome, and we've already heard today, I think, some amazing examples of what people are doing to overcome that. We at QVC are not immune to this risk. We face all those challenges, and we face some own that are unique to our format. And we have heard for many years how all the changes in the world are going to spell the demise of QVC and what we do. A decade ago, it was about the rise of digital TV, going from a 30-channel world to a 500-channel world. It would be impossible to survive in a 500-channel world. There'd be too many choices people would have. Certainly, the rise of e-commerce posed a different kind of risk, since we were born in an era where there was no e-commerce. Time shifting has been one of the more recent concerns. If everyone is watching everything on their TiVo or their DVR, what role is there for a live TV like QVC? And so our critics have often pointed to these threats as reasons why this old-fashioned idea of selling stuff on TV was really going to become extinct pretty soon. We have always had a different point of view. It won't surprise you. We are really passionate about what we do. We are passionate about what we do. And we believe this new digital world is crafted just for us, and that it presents us with great opportunities. We think that what we do is more relevant than it's ever been before. But of course, to stay relevant, you have to change continuously. And so today I want to talk about some of the things we're doing to transform our business to try to continue to change and adapt and take advantage of this new world. Before I do that, a little bit of quick history. QVC celebrates its 25th birthday this year. We were founded in kind of a time when it was almost like a mini internet bubble. There were literally dozens of companies started to sell things on TV. We were actually a very late entrant. We had many, many competitors when we entered. And we had a very simple business model, US only, sell one product at a time over TV and have people call us and order. That was the model. And in many ways, we looked just like the other dozens of players doing exactly the same thing. But there was one difference. There was one difference. We had this belief that guided us. And the belief was that selling stuff over TV is a fundamentally untrustworthy thing to do. And people that do it, they wanted the fast buck. They wanted to convince you, trick you into buying something that you didn't need or wasn't of high quality, and then they'd be on to the next target. And so we said, what we're going to do every day is everything in our power to earn the trust of the customer and to re-earn it every day. And we'll be in it for the long run. And that mindset drove all of our decisions. And that formula has worked well for us. We've been blessed with a great track record of growth in revenue and profitability from the first day till today. We've only had one down year in revenue. We were not, unfortunately, immune to the Great Recession and had a slight dip down in revenue in 2008, but have been pleased to see that revenue coming back in the last 18 months. And so today, our business is healthy and vibrant, and we serve a number of markets around the world. And over those 25 years, we've emerged as the dominant player in this category. Today, we serve customers through a variety of means, certainly over the traditional television format, but also internet and mobile. These are growing at extraordinary rates. We have about 11 million active customers in the last year with unbelievable levels of loyalty, 95% repeat purchase rate among active customers. And at the same time, Last year, we added more new customers than at any point in our history. 3.2 million new customers joined the QVC family. So we love the dynamism that we see in our customer base. And we're fortunate to not only be able to drive revenue in a pretty consistent way, but to drive good profitability as well. And our profit margins are about 2 to 4 times what most other retail industry segments are. That said, I think none of those statistics kind of give you a sense of what's underneath it, which is this transformation I alluded to, a transformation in who we are. We've really had to grapple with all these changes in the digital landscape and realize that we had to think differently about who we are. We had to think differently about our conception of ourselves and what our purpose was. We used to think about ourselves as a retailer who was selling stuff, we thought great stuff, over a couple of different channels. To some degree, it was a little bit of a traditional retail seller-buyer kind of one-way relationship. And it's only been in the last couple of years that we've really turned that idea around and said, what we really are is about a brand experience, and that brand experience needs to connect with and empower this increasingly global community of avid shoppers. That when we're at our best, what this brand experience does is it engages our customers in the QVC brand, but it also engages them with each other, which is as important as engagement in our brand. And then what we really need to be doing is allowing each customer to create the QVC that's relevant for them. We have to get away from monolithic thinking and think about our mission as empowering the consumer to build the QVC that they care about and that they're passionate and that is relevant to them. And we've learned a lot of things as we've gone through that journey. We've made a lot of mistakes. So what I wanted to try to do today is frame some of the things we've learned and some of the things we've worked on, although I do so very humbly, because for everything that's worked, I could point out 5 things that haven't worked. So it seems like continuous experimentation and a willingness to fail and pick yourself up and try again is pretty inherent in the world we live in today, and we embrace that spirit of experimentation. So let me go through a few things we've been working on. The first one sounds so obvious it's almost embarrassing to say it, which is the product still matters. With all the changes in technology and the way people interact and all these exciting things that are happening in this world, curating great product is still what we are all about, and you could certainly see that in the amazing presentation that Martha just went through. But I pause and say it because we could all point to a lot of retailers, especially in the digital space, that are focused on product less than all the other things that they worry about. So we view ourselves as a trusted editor, a curator of a very focused and very unique product assortment. Still today, at our core, QVC is about finding 150 great items that we can present to you each day. And each day, not once a season, but each day, 40 or 50 of those items have to be brand new. You've never seen them before. So how, out of this vast product catalog of the world, in the ways in which people can instantly access any product ever made, how do we fulfill our job of being the editor of 150 special items every day, and some more, certainly on our internet and mobile screens, but at the heart of those 150. And those 150 all ladder up to some common ideas. They're about making the unattainable attainable, helping people fulfill an aspiration at an affordable price, helping people find a creative way to solve an old problem, helping people connect with each other. Our customers are very, very engaged in their lives, and we want our products to help them fulfill that engagement, whether they're products for the home or the garden or the community. Our products are about helping people connect with their lives. Within those core attributes, though, these 150 items are amazingly diverse. It's everything from a prestige designer like Isaac Mizrahi, exclusive for QVC, or a great beauty brand like Bobbi Brown. Innovative products in the home world, Great personality brands, and you heard some of that already this morning, but helping our customers connect with people who have a really distinctive point of view and a loyal following. So Rachel Ray in the kitchen, Rachel Zoe for fashion and accessories, or even the dog whisperer. These are all powerful presence on QVC. And we also love to find the undiscovered brand. You know, a decade ago we helped get Philosophy and Bare Essentials started. They've become two of the great brands in the beauty world. Today they're brands like Wen that all of a sudden is explosive, that we helped nurture over the last several years. Josie Maran in beauty, trying to give a small brand a national audience and a national platform, and that brand is backed up by great inspirational people and a distinctive difference and a distinctive point of view. So we do think, as I know all of you do, that product matters. We in this industry have a responsibility to make sure we're developing that next generation of great merchants. We can't lose sight of that as the world seems to be focused on technology. We have to be focused on technology for sure and financial management for sure, but also great product and great merchandising. Consumption of video is at record levels in every age range. You may watch video on a very small screen. You may watch it on a very big screen. Most of us watch it on both. But video consumption is explosive. And for us, that's a very good thing because we believe in video. It's what we're expert at. And we believe in the power of video to create really unique, immersive kinds of experiences. So for us, video can be used to inform people. If you're buying the latest cookware, buy it from Gordon Ramsay and have Gordon give you tips on cooking and how to make the most out of the product. Video is a way to engage and entertain. And so if you love the Kardashians, you can buy K-Dash, buy the Kardashians exclusively for QVC, and you can engage with the three sisters and the mom. Susie Orman is a way we use video to inform and educate. And Susie's been a great presence on QVC for over a decade, and during the Great Recession, her shows were informative, inspiring, powerful. In many ways, this is kind of a back to the future idea, because if you think about our historic roots of retailing, retailing was about great theater, right? Retailing was about great emporiums that brought the world to customers who couldn't go out to the world and create great theatrical experiences. And so that's what we've tried to embrace in a more contemporary way. So we want to bring our customer not just Isaac Mizrahi product, not just Isaac Mizrahi, but we want to bring our customers inside Isaac's design studio in New York City. And we have a special remote studio built right into his design center in New York City. We want to take our viewers to Fashion Week in New York. Let them go under the tents or go to Lincoln Center now and see a runway show. And not just see a show, but actually be able to buy product off that runway show. And not only buy product, but buy product that's for this season and that's affordable. And so it turns the concept of the Fashion Week on its head. We want to take our customers to Aspen in the summer and have them participate in the Aspen Food and Wine Festival. And this is a great example. You can kind of get a sense from the screenshot that it's not just about broadcasting from the Aspen Food and Wine Festival. It's about creating a really immersive experience, multi-platform experience that the foodie in our audience can really connect with. And so that takes me to the third learning. We all talk a lot about multi-channel. Multi-channel has been the hot phrase over the last decade. I've really come to the conclusion that multi-channel is a very outdated idea, because channels imply silos and divisions and boundaries. And we all know the challenge retailers have had trying to audience and so forth, different promotion, different strategies across the channels. And we can't live that way anymore because it's not how the customer lives. The customer doesn't think about channels. Have you ever heard a customer talk about, I use this channel or that channel? And so we need to move away from that idea. And what we think about is that our mission isn't about selling stuff over an array of channels, Our mission is to create an experience that's relevant to the customer and to manifest that experience on all the screens and all the devices she interacts with over the course of a day. And of course, we all know she interacts with lots of screens and lots of devices throughout the day, and that will only continue, of course, to multiply. And so our mission is to create this immersive brand experience that I've been talking about, great product, great content, to distribute it over multiple screens and multiple devices, to make sure that that content is integrated across all those devices, but also tailored. Because the purpose of a mobile phone app is different than a mobile optimized website, is different than a tablet, is different than a TV screen. So how do we make sure each device is used to its best purpose, but make sure that the experience is a unified and holistic experience? And the really fundamental change that we're just now beginning to get our heads around is not only does it have to be integrated, but also tailored, we have to be ready for the simultaneous use of multiple devices, ready and enabling and empowering the simultaneous use of multiple devices, because today, the customer may want to watch our live show on a big screen and really see the product in great detail and see the guests and see the hosts. But she's also likely to have her laptop by her side or her tablet for quick ordering, or for going to our Facebook site and interacting with us on Facebook, or asking us a question on our site that will be immediately fed to the host, and the host will respond through the screen. And she might also have her mobile phone out, and she might be tweeting with her friends about the experience, because we want to create that shopping community in a virtual way. And so this simultaneous use of multiple screens and devices to have a really immersive experience is a fundamental change in what we used to think of as a very passive experience. And of course, nothing has been more fundamental to that change than the rise of mobile, the explosion of mobile commerce, mobile social networking, mobile information management. And we have seen just amazing results around the world from creating experiences that are relevant to the mobile platform. And I think none of us today, we heard a little bit about some of the things that Martha and Terry and their teams are doing in the mobile space. I don't think any of us today can fully comprehend the power of mobile, but it will change retailing in the most fundamental and profound way, and I think at a pace that will make the pace of change driven by the internet seem absolutely glacial in comparison. It is an absolutely explosive phenomenon. And increasingly, we look to mobile to create really specialized experiences, to tap into that community and to create multiple communities within the community. And so we have a lot of customers that love buying beauty products on QVC. It's one of our strongest categories and one of our fastest growing categories. And they like that experience, and it's a different kind of experience than the brick and mortar experience of buying beauty. But that may be all they care about with QVC. And so we want them to have their QVC. And so there's a QVC beauty app that is tailored to them. The product obviously is tailored to them, but also the information management tools and the ways to replenish product. It's all tailored to the experience they want to have with their QVC. And if you're a foodie, we have a similar app for food mavens that's centered around one of our great food hosts who has an amazing following. And if you love Isaac, there's an app that's just for you as well. So those tailored experiences we think are critical. And nothing is as revolutionary in this mobile space, obviously, as the tablet, which, of course, a year ago we weren't talking about, and today is dominating our lives. About the iPad and all of its imitators for us is that for the first time, you can get a really high-quality, live, HD viewing experience on a screen that's big enough to view for some period of time, and great integrated data next to that viewing experience, and have that experience wherever you are, anywhere in the world, at any time. And to be able to be visiting our team in QVC Japan while watching the show in the US and ordering in the US, or taking this with me wherever I go, it just transforms the whole shopping experience. And so for those who thought, God, it seems like buying stuff on TV, that's an old kind of idea. Well, this is about the most contemporary kind of idea for shopping that you can imagine. And so we've barely begun to tap into it, but I think the power for us is going to be really extraordinary. And what you can probably tell from all of this is that I've been really focusing on engaging the customer, much more so than selling stuff. We are in the business of selling stuff. It is how we get our revenue. But it starts with engagement and community, and then the selling always takes care of itself. And so we fundamentally think about ourselves as competing for your time and attention against all the other things you could be doing, which could be shopping other stores. It could be watching the Food Network. It's likely both. It could be surfing the internet. And so we focus on time and engagement, and we measure it in many different ways, some of which are obvious. We look at viewership to our TV channel as an important measure of, are we engaging you? And with the product and the content that I've described, we have great viewership. We're one of the more higher rated cable networks and company of networks like Bravo or Lifetime. And for every QVC customer, for every customer who has purchased something from QVC that's watching our show at any point in time, there are 10 people who've never purchased anything from us who are watching it. So that's about engagement and kind of taking a long view of building customers and building trust. And we could look at the same kind of information about site visits or other ways to think about engagement. So engagement is important for us. And engagement leads to community, which I've been talking about. Again, we have learned a long time ago that we're not remotely in charge of our brand. The customer is. And so the challenge in this new world is how to empower the customer to build your brand, but do it in a way that's right and meaningful for your business. In many ways, this is not a new idea for QVC. QVC has always been about letting the customer shape the experience in a really profound way. We like to think about ourselves as the world's great shopper democracy, because the customer votes every second with her phone calls and her clicks, and we respond every second. Our producers study this red line, which is the number of phone calls that are coming in at any second buying our product, and you could look at internet traffic as well. And what we do in the next minute is different based on what that red line tells us. And so having that experience evolve organically over the course of a show, a day, a week, a month, based on what the customer is voting, is key to what we do. But of course, we have to go beyond that and do all the things you've already heard about this morning in terms of tapping into this vast array of social networking devices to engage the customer. We want her to be deeply engaged with us through multiple forums, some of which we manage, some of which other people manage, like Facebook or Twitter. We want her to be deeply engaged with each other, more importantly, and we want our customer to be our advocate with her friends, her community. And when we ask her to do that, it creates then an obligation for us. We have to listen to what she says. And so one of the great things about this new world is she tells us a lot, right? There's no shortage of feedback and information we have, whether it's product ratings and reviews, of which we have numbers of ratings and reviews that are 10 times that of other major retailers, or all the things she says about us on Facebook, or all the things she tweets about us. And we've invested heavily in text analytic tools to enable us to take all of that overwhelming amount of information and put it in computers and have it come back and tell us something that we can do about. And so we're really passionate about that. Every poorly rated product gets actioned immediately. So that feedback loop has become critical. And I was talking a moment ago about this multi-screen experience, being able to interact with us on multi-screens. Again, we understand the consumer is trying to do that in a more simultaneous way. So a lot of what our focus is, we call it SyncQ, is our kind of internal code word for creating this simultaneous experience. A great example of that is recent Oscars broadcast. So we went to the Oscars and we hosted an Oscars party in Beverly Hills, and we had great celebrities in attendance, and we sold product. That's the kind of product we're wearing on the runway this season, and it was a lot of fun. And by broadcasting that party, we could bring our customers behind the scenes and see what an Oscar party is like. But we also enable them to engage with us on Facebook, enter contests to come to the party. We enable them to send tweets about the party and the program, and those tweets would appear simultaneously on the TV screen. And so all of a sudden now this customer has this really engaged, highly engaged, immersive experience. And all that builds interest and loyalty and relationships and ultimately sales. And that notion of trying to personalize the experience, which is easier to do in the virtual world, we've also trying to do that in the physical world as well. You know, we think an advantage we have against all of the myriad of retailers who pop up every day, and it's amazing and fun to watch this really dynamic retail environment where internet startups can go from 0 to 60 in a very short period of time, totally unlike the kind of growth patterns that folks tied to physical space have. And one of the ways we can win against those diverse set of competitors is by using scale to our advantage. No one takes more phone calls in a year than QVC, no one. None, with the exception of Amazon, ships more products in a year. And so we've really tried to invest in massive infrastructure to do all of that efficiently and at scale and at low cost. But we can't use scale to create a highly standardized experience. That's normally how you use scale, right? Commoditize the experience, drive down the cost. We recognize today that that scale has to be used to create a personalized experience, not a standardized experience. And so we are today investing heavily in a contemporary suite of technology platforms, basically changing out our entire technology infrastructure to enable us in a much more agile way than old legacy technology enabled us to do, to know everything about the customer, what shows she watches, time she buys, what products she buys, what her history is, what her preferences are, how she wants to be interacted with, where she wants the package if she's not at home. Does she want it left around the back door or in the garage or on the front stoop? And so we can use scale to create an experience that's about her. I mean, the QVC she wants, not the QVC that we want to offer her. I would tell you we're in the early stages of this, but I think even the physical infrastructure and physical distribution of product will transform itself over the next several years as we try to embrace that notion of building these personalized experiences. We also believe in global. I talked a little bit about that, but we think in this world being global is critical, tapping into the global consumer mindset, being relative on a global scale. And for us, the growth of broadband, the growth of mobile, all of these are new ways to tap into the global consumer. And so we were very focused on that. We're focused on trying to accelerate our growth. That growth will look different in the next 5 years than the last 10. You can see the markets we're in today that are in boxes. And this is just a listing of top markets by GDP. Look in a 15-year time frame, 2000 to 2015 forecast. This is not news to any of us, but the profound changes in the positions. Look at China and Brazil, and we talked about India earlier this morning. These are such dynamic, vibrant, powerful consumer markets. And so this is the next horizon for QVC. Winning in those markets will look different strategies, different approaches, but we believe passionately in these markets. And you know, we hope we are actively engaged in finding ways to win in those markets. And so we're not there yet, but we know that's the next horizon for QVC as well. And finally, I want to leave you with one last point, which is, again, with all this technology and social media and all the things that are changing, you know, retailing at its heart is still about earning customer trust. We kind of saw that in the first poll question. It sounds obvious, like the product point, why say it? But I think we can all point to lots of examples where that's not what the retailer is primarily focused on. And so trust for us matters, because for us it is all about lifetime relationships. And we keep coming back to that. We are maniacal about these kinds of statistics. These measure how many people 7 on a 7-point scale, not a 5, 6, and 7, but on a 7-point scale about satisfaction, timely deliveries, ease of doing business, returns better than competitors. We watch this every day. We watch for any dip. We're very proud of recognition like what we received the last few years from the NRF in terms of customer choice and customer satisfaction, because all of it drives the last statistic, which is even with all the new customers I mentioned earlier, 95% of our revenues come from our existing customers. It is literally a statistical certitude, all of our data tells us, that once you've made 3 purchases from QVC, you will be a customer for life. once you've made 3 purchases from QVC, you will be a customer for life. So for those of you who haven't yet made 3 purchases, this is a great opportunity. Download the iPad app today, or the iPhone app, and have that experience. And so we tried hard throughout the recession. Don't do anything, that was our mantra, don't do anything to hurt customer trust. Don't do anything to hurt customer trust. And we think that's why she's stayed with us and has been back with us in these last couple of years. So that's my story. Exciting time to be in retailing. You know, when you run through what I just ran through in 30 or 40 minutes, it sort of feels like there's a plan and it makes sense and we know what we're doing. But as I said at the outset, most days it doesn't feel like we know what we're doing at all. It feels like we're trying stuff and ultimately letting the customer tell us where to go. And she's pretty clear about where she wants to go. And trying to stay focused on trust and lifetime relationships, and that seems to hold us in good stead. With that, I want to close on a video. This video is, I think it's a way to illustrate some of the things I've been talking about. It's a video about what we did at Fashions Night Out in New York last fall. And many of you know Fashions Night Out is this wonderful new thing that that the industry is doing to promote the industry. Stores stay open late at night, they put on events, they bring in lots of celebrities. Since we don't have a physical presence, we did something different. We put up a pop-up store in Rockefeller Center. And it wasn't just a pop-up store, it was the world's first store and fashion runway and live HD broadcast studio and blogger lounge and other things. And it created this wonderful, fun, immersive experience for the people that could be in New York, the customers who could be in New York and come experience that. But more importantly, it brought Fashions Night Out in a really creative way to all of our customers around the country. So let's roll that video. Thank you. I think we have time for a couple of questions, if there are any. Yep.
Zappos.com has a reputation for their return policy. It's like at the top of the list. How do you handle that?
First of all, Zappos is amazing, and I am a customer of Zappos, I'll admit. And I think it's a great example of someone who's being really innovative in the retail space. And to your point, one of their great successes is the way they do returns. We have a really simple but consistent policy and practice around returns, because returns are critical, which is we want you to try something and return it if you don't like it. And we will take anything back, no questions asked, return obviously the price and the shipping charge, and the outbound shipping charge. And we'll really do that essentially at any point for a customer in good standing. So the official policy is 30 days, and the reality is that at any point, if a customer wants to return something, we'll pretty much do that. And what we find is that our best customers have the highest return rates. The best customers have the highest return rates, and so that's very strategic for us. Because what we don't want you to do is to sit there and watch the program and then say, not quite sure what size I want, not quite sure if that's exactly what I'll wait. Try it. If it doesn't work, bring it back. And so our best customers know that, and they'll do it, and they return at high rates, and that's part of the business model, and it works.
Hi, thank you for your presentation. Hello?
Yep, I can hear you.
I'll just talk really loud. My question for you is, what specifically is QVC doing to attract new target markets who have never and don't typically shop at home?
Yeah, it's, we're very focused on continuing to sort of expand the net, expand the range of people who buy from QVC. I often get asked the question, are you trying to target a certain demographic? Are you trying to, let's say, get in a younger consumer? And what you find with QVC customers is there's really a surprising diversity in those customers because QVC itself is so diverse in terms of what we offer. And so our goal is keep expanding the diversity of what we offer and continue to catch a wider and wider range of customers of all ages, interests, ethnicities. And we do that largely through all the things we've talked about. I can't point to one strategy because it's really an integrated strategy about, as a starting point, we have to get past the stereotype because this industry was founded in an unflattering light, and there are many people, including many people still today, who do things on TV that are untrustworthy. So we have to get people out of the old headset of what this experience is and into the headset of what you just saw. And so for us, it's about keep building great product and great content because we know they'll stop and point and watch and engage if we do that. Keep bringing in interesting people. And I can tell you that the folks that the Kardashians bring in are a different segment of customers than others we have. And the Kardashians are a really interesting example. First of all, the power of these social networks. So there are lots of ways we try to get the word out about our brand. But when the Kardashians send out a tweet that they're going to be at the pop-up store or a tweet that they're going to be on QVC, those tweets go to 3 to 4 million people, most of whom probably have not engaged with QVC before. And what's interesting about the Kardashians is that they sell a lot more product the day or two after they air than at the moment they're on QVC, because their fan base comes back later and engages with the internet and engages with video on the internet. And so the whole purchasing profile of those customers looks different than others where you see more instantaneous translation of a show and a sale. So I think all of those acts of great content, great product, get the word out through this really diverse set of celebrities, and do sort of mega events, do things like Fashion's Night Out that get huge press coverage, or the Oscars party. It's all a way to kind of, over time, gradually get people to understand that this is something maybe different and unexpected, and that there's something for them, and that there's something for them. They can find the QVC that's relevant for them.
Hello. Mike, I want to thank you for this presentation. I think it's unusually thoughtful for even an excellent event like the Global Conference. So, and you said several things that I could ask about, but I'll focus just on one, which is those remarkable statistics about your repeat customers and their return rates and related. When it comes to your perception of QVC's customer equity, is this something that you think is reflected in the value of your company? Is it something you carry on the balance sheet? How do you view that as an asset, tangible or intangible?
Well, you know, I think any CEO would always say that it's not fully reflected in the value of the company. So we do think it's an extraordinary asset, and we do think that, you know, as we look at the dynamics of what it was really happened, fascinating to watch what happened during the Great Recession and to really watch the dynamics. As I mentioned, we did see a sales dip. Fortunately, it wasn't a big dip, but we did see it dip down. And what we found as we dug into that is that we didn't lose a single customer. We didn't have any increase in customer defections. All of our customers stuck with us, almost to a person. What happened is they bought one fewer product over the course of the year, one fewer product over the course of the year, because obviously their wallets were much more than they had been before. And then when things started to get a little bit, they started to add additional. So we, you know, you've already heard it said this morning, it is all about the customers. We do think those customer relationships are a great asset for us, and that they help us weather bad times and hopefully drive strong growth in good times. And I'm not sure we have a creative way to value that, honestly. I don't know that we really know how to do that thoughtfully, but we know it's there. And that's why when we make business decisions about things we could do to save money, we could offshore our call centers. We don't really even look at those things because we just sort of know intuitively that that's not right to do because it's not going to build that long-term relationship. We have call center representatives, many of them, who have been with us 20 to 25 years. Think about that in the call center industry. And so you have this intangible notion that if we do anything to interfere with that long-term relationship, anything to disappoint her, the impact on our asset value is tenfold whatever savings we might have achieved through some action. But that's all done through judgment. I can't say that, honestly, we have a lot of good science behind it.
Hi, my name is Ying Huang. I'm a faculty member at Retail and Consumer Sciences. Thank you for your presentation. In your presentation, you mentioned that products and assortments are the foundation of your business model. So can you talk about your sourcing strategy and also supply management for your QVC brand products? Thank you.
Thanks. You know, our partners, and that's how we think about them as partners, not vendors, are so critical to us. And you think about it, in our world, they're even more critical than in a normal retailer relationship because our partners come on air. They come into our customers' living rooms. And the products I went through have a very broad and diverse range of partners. You know, the only thing that our partners tend to have in common is that they have real passion for the product they're making. They believe in it. We don't have paid spokespeople, so the guests that come on air to talk about a product are generally intricately involved in the creation of that product, even the celebrity guests. We've turned out many celebrity guests because they basically said, I'd like to represent this kind of a product. You go get it made, and I'll come out and I'll say it's my product. And that's of no interest to us. That's of no interest to us. And so, believe it or not, the celebrities you see on air are folks that are working directly with the suppliers of that product, integrally involved in the design of it, and the quality assurance of it, the style selection of it. And so, you know, that's sort of the common attribute. But other than that, it's everything from, we have a wonderful relationship with Estee Lauder and brands like Bobbi Brown and Ojon and great prestige suppliers like Estee. And we work with the latest entrepreneur who comes to us and says, I just sort of invented something that's kind of cool. And if we think it has merit, we'll put it on air. And so that's kind of our approach.
Hey, Mike.
Yep.
Mike, I had the chance to do your Oscar party in Beverly Hills, which was fantastic, and see your pop-up shop in New York City. A lot of these executives and I talk about the importance of being at those kind of events, but they can't always justify spending the money, or what is the return on investment? What do you use when it comes to making those kind of decisions, and how did you justify doing that bash in LA for the Oscars at the Four Seasons Hotel?
It's, you sound like my CFO. It's another one, kind of like the earlier question, where I wouldn't tell you that we have great science about it. We really don't. It is really a judgment call about, is this creating a high level of customer engagement and press and media attention? And we just sort of believe on intuition that if we're creating that level of energy with the customers, we'll see it. You know, where you don't see it is if you took the cost of the Oscar party and put it against the revenue we generated from those shows and compared that to what a normal show would do in that time period, it doesn't remotely pay for itself. In fact, often that kind of a show actually has somewhat lower sales, not always, but sometimes, because it's serving a different purpose. We're trying to bring brand new product, and brand new product always has a high risk of failure to that kind of a show. We're trying to get people engaged in all these multimedia experiences with that kind of a show. So it might actually not be a great revenue-generating show. And so for us, it's just a matter of who are we engaging with it? How do they react to it? What's the feedback we get from customers? And we monitor the feedback very carefully, as you'd expect. What kind of attention is it bringing? And if it sort of feels right, you know, we'll do it again. I think I'm out of time, so I thank you very much for your time.